Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Draft Day Sports College Basketball. This is episode 43. The question has come up on a number of occasions from a few different viewers, so I know majority of you are pretty on board with how things are, but the question has come up. So for the second time, I want to address what sets us apart from other teams. Why is my team able to find some success? Not just, winning our conference, but to make a run in the tournament. Here's a couple quick answers for you that really goes to show that we are not just a small conference powerhouse who shouldn't be getting upsets at the higher level. I mean, we shouldn't have made the Final Four last year, but that really was circumstantial. Those first two wins, possible. Absolutely possible. Likely? Yeah, not totally, but certainly possible. And those were two vulnerable higher tier teams that we did just enough against. Those next two rounds, we just lucked out on some weaker opponents who themselves punched above their weight. Anyway, here's the first thing: recruiting every year. Now, I'm not recruiting a lot of players as high school graduates that are coming in as freshmen and building. We are largely getting through the transfer portal, and I do well in the transfer portal. And honestly, as that's a newer feature in the game, it probably needs some more balancing to it. I think it's maybe a little too easy for me to get the players that I get, and that makes a huge difference. But even just in the limited number of recruits that we get in, the young guys coming in, not through the transfer portal, you can see just how much stronger we are than everybody else in the conference. We have a single recruit, but that single recruit is a 4-star recruit just outside of the top 100. And you see how much better he is than everybody else. There's only 4 2-star recruits in the entire conference. Yes, we have climbed off the bottom. We are no longer in the gutter at all in this series. We've made our way up a handful of levels already, but that has not changed the fact that we are surrounded by teams that really struggle in recruiting. And tactically, I put everything into getting that one or two bigger recruits. And we benefit for it, especially because we have that fallback, that plan B transfer portal, which honestly is plan A because that's where we get the majority of our starters out of. So this, outside of the Darius Q that we picked up a few seasons back, has been not a key outlet, and not signing 4 guys like Navy has benefited us because of that transfer portal. Anyway, getting a Darius Q, getting a 4-star recruit is a huge plus. 4.6 points for that one recruit, better than half the league by itself. Honestly, my one guy is definitely better than their 2 guys here, their 2 guys here, their 2 guys here, there are 3 guys here. The only team that maybe have something, no, Loyola Maryland does not have anything on us, even though they've got 4 guys, because now they're taking themselves out of the transfer portal where there is quality available and can be had. So we've got one quality player while the entire rest of the league has nothing of value. The second thing is this: we have a net ranking that nobody else around us is matching, but 39 is not that high. When you have a 68 team tournament, we are right about the middle of just good enough to maybe win one round, and maybe not. Be competitive in the first round. Get knocked out in the second round if you didn't get knocked out in the first. Our net ranking suggests that. And I think that's where some of the reaction is, oh, it's not realistic, you shouldn't get that far. But here's why this only tells half the story. This has a lot to do with our opposition strength, a lot to do with our strength of schedule. A somewhat more realistic picture of just how good we actually are is this down here. Offensive rating this year, it is down a bit from last year. We are not as good offensively. Last year, we were inside the top 25, I think, offensive rating. But our defensive rating a year ago was in the top 15. This year, it's 18th. So we are not quite the same team we were a year ago. That makes sense. 20-7 in the regular season, where last year, I think we topped 30 wins in the end, did we not? But still, 12-4 in conference, very dominant, very good team still this year. But, not quite on last year's level. Last year, we were about 10 spots higher in the net ranking, and these were definitely both higher. But average this out, our net rating combined, we're 11th. We are 11th. That is a Sweet 16 team. Now, I don't know if we're quite a Sweet 16 team, but I think we can comfortably be a second-round team as long as we don't have an absurd first-round matchup. That is why, and last year was better. Last year was a team that was a bit higher placed than this year's team in both offensive and defensive ratings. This takes a lot of things into account, and this suggests that, hey, our approach of going after defense first is getting us consistently, competitively into that top 25. Those better A-division teams, they are definitely beyond our reach. We are not there yet. But I recruit really well. I bring in players that fit a system that combined punches way above our weight. All right, let's get into the tournament. Let's have some fun. Conference tournament now, first round matchups. 2 upsets in the first round. Navy out. American University out. So Lehigh and Bellarmine getting the upsets, joining North Carolina A&T, South Carolina Upstate in the quarterfinals. For an opponent, that gives us North Carolina A&T. Quarterfinals tipping off. We are going to play, but we're going to play very, very fast through this game. Trail 1-0 early on. Took us more than a minute to get our first score. In fact, we still have not scored now after 2 minutes. And finally on the board, starting a little slow, but I would imagine in the end we should be comfortable in this game. The only thing about that is that we actually have not played North Carolina A&T this year. This is the first time we've gone against them, so somehow we missed them on the schedule. I think there's 1 to 2 teams that you miss every year, and then there's 1 to 2 teams that you end up playing a second time. How that didn't turn out balanced, I don't know, but it is what it is. Game is level, or at least was a moment ago. It is again as we hit the halfway point here in the first half. Not having our best start. Part of that is we are -4 on fouls already. But we are +4 on rebounds. We are -2 on turnovers, usually one of our strengths, and both teams shooting 50% from the field. Just 2 free throw attempts from us, definitely a factor. Slight lead at the moment has a lot to do with the fact that we are 6 of 11 from 3, where they are just 1 for 5. So while they might be hitting their 2-pointers, they are not hitting their 3s, and those 5 extra 3-pointers. The slight difference as we approach halftime, but it is still something that is a lot of momentum for them at the moment. I went ahead and used my 30-second time. No, it didn't give me my 30-second timeout either time that I tried to take it. And then they make a 3-pointer at the buzzer to stretch that lead out to 5 at the end of the first half. So we were taking control, and then they went on a bit of a stretch. That's one reason why you do not want to speed things up to the pace that I did, as that does not tend to go very well. But 2 quick fouls from Hold, Cooper, both head to the bench. Bench guys not doing quite as much. Fall having a huge day, career day for him. I think that's the highest I've ever seen. 20 points in just the first half. But we trail 32-18 in the post, where it's obvious we're a bit understaffed, undermanned there in that first half. Work to do in the second half. We'll see how that one goes. Again, 2 things not going well. Timeout not being given when I needed it, when I asked for it, and those early fouls. Second half, a little bit better start. 3 minutes, just a couple fouls so far, and we've already cut into that gap. Just a 1-point deficit now, but fouls slowly mounting. It was 3-1 until just a moment ago. And we have a lead. First time in a while, anyway. Fall in the game, still on 20 points. He's the only one out there that has more than 4. Very much a bench unit at the moment. Still a bench unit. Long time that those guys are on the court. But they held that slender lead that had been built up And with starters coming back on, suddenly we are stretching that lead out. It's a 9-point game with 6.5 to play. Now things are looking a little bit better. Fall back on the court again. He has played majority of the second half. He finally got another score at 23 points now. Houston also at 17 as he is starting to add things up. He was 6 of 7 a moment ago. Now 7 of 9 and hit 20 points, up by 12. And we are in cruise mode with 2 minutes to go. We've got this thing under control. They certainly made it scary there for a little bit. But second half, we kept this under control. Total fouls just 4. Final 96-81 into the semis. And just one upset in the quarterfinals, and that's South Carolina Upstate again. That is the team that has been climbing that ladder with us for how many years in a row? 79-67 with the win. They are looking to get back and get that next promotion. They looked like they had it. They had it under control, and then all of a sudden they lost 2 or 3 key games in the last maybe 4 of the season and dropped down the order from top 3 to now needing a result here to get deep enough to earn that automatic promotion. Interesting scoreline with the other 3 winners, 94, 95, 96 for the 3 winners in this one, and similar defensive scores within 5 points of each other. Now, James Madison actually offered one of the best challenges this season. They were 3rd in the league and breakaway top 3. We are heavily favored for this one, but they beat us the one time we played them this season. It was on the road. It was the first of those 3 losses we had in a row, and it took overtime for them to beat us. So the fact that we were on the road for that one and neutral here, you would figure they're going to have a difficult time beating us a second time around, but you never know. We could certainly have an off day. We only have a single matchup that is neutral. Otherwise, we have the favorable matchup in all cases. Bench, well, they've certainly outscored us, but in terms of quality, apparently we are about level. They've definitely had a higher scoring. In fact, in general, they've scored a lot more offensive and defensive their games in general. 3-point percentage almost identical. Field goal percentage a little bit higher for them. Probably the difference there. Assists also plus 0.5. Again, I think that has more to do with the points per game. But rebounding slightly in our favor. Lower scoring games, more rebounds to have, more missed shots, offensive, defensive. Blocks plus 1. Steals, though, plus 1.5 for them. Turnovers, very similar. So you'd figure we'd balance out somewhere in between. The differential, we're, plus 10 points per game. They are plus 7. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting matchup. I don't think we are as overpowered, as OP as the scouting report suggests. Could be a close game. With the automatic promotion already secure, honestly, all we're playing for is that conference title. Just the bragging rights. We don't need to do anything, but it'd be nice to win that conference title. Slow start to the game, but 2 quick buckets cut into that lead quite a bit, and it's already down to just 3, now 4. At the moment, now 2. So we have bounced back after that somewhat slow start. Turnovers already had a plus 2 advantage. Field goals, well, they had a couple quick 3-pointers. Fouls are level at 3. 8 minutes played. We're in a good place. We're in a good place after that slightly slow start. We're in a good place now. Use it there. Okay, 5 minutes to play. Slender lead. 3 points. Update on the stats. Rebounds are level. Turnovers are level. We are shooting a little bit better than they are, but it's similar. Free throws, similar. 3-pointers, little advantage for them, those couple early makes. And we are looking at fouls being quite similar as well. I think we just hit 10. They had 9 in the first half, and we have ourselves a game. 1 point in it at the half. Hold, the leading scorer, matching their leading scorer of Lockhart off the bench. 5 of 6, really keeping them in it because some of their starters are really struggling. Combined, if you exclude Rowe, who had a fantastic shooting half, so just 3 attempts, the rest of their starters just 3 of 13 points in the paint. Big advantage, second chance points. That's looks like a big advantage. It's only 4-1. And fast break points, 6-0. So nothing major, but definitely an advantage across the board. For us, our bench hasn't done a whole lot. Fouls, Houston with 3. That's the one to watch out for. Hold also with 2. Everybody else is in good shape. But yes, Houston did not play much and picked up those 3 quick fouls. So we are relying once again on Fall and Harris to pick up the slack. Penders to pick up the slack a bit. Second half underway, 4-point lead. First minute gone by. No fouls just yet for us, and they've already committed 2. Good advantage on that one. 5 fouls for them already. For once, we are on the receiving end. We're keeping it clean, and we are getting them to freak out. Now, they are pulling away a little bit, but that 6-0, I mean, we're already going to go into the... If they have some momentum, try to take it away. Talk about it a little bit as we trail by 4. Back-to-back buckets there. Let's slow it down now with 9 minutes to play into our normal realm as we've got work to do. We are down by 9. Hold, 15 points. Reed, 11. Fall, 10. Houston finally back out on court with his 3 fouls. Reed has 2. Down by 10 with 7 minutes to play. Slow it down a little bit more so we can strategize when we need to. We are in the double bonus. That is going to help a lot. A huge 3-pointer there. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. And then a back-to-back on that one. And we need to talk about this. They got the ball again and made it again. 8 points. And essentially 2 possessions because we had a rapid turnover there. And then even after the timeout, we could not convert. Luckily, they fouled us and allowed us to get a couple free throws to maybe get a little momentum going. But we were down by 17 when we had been down by, 8 or 9 just a moment earlier. It happened in a matter of seconds. We've already cut it back down to 12, and we have some momentum. But with 3.5 minutes to play, that is a ton of work to do for a team that is shooting 57% from the field. 10 of 16 from 3, 62%. They can't miss. So it's not that we've done anything terribly wrong. We have 8 fouls. We have 81 points, usually more than enough. Our defense not stepping up today like they normally do. Rebounding -2. We're almost always ahead of our opponents. Turnovers, only +1. Almost always ahead there. Field goal percent, 49. Just fine. 35 from 3 is okay. We've had 33 free throw attempts. That's one of the most I've ever seen. They've also had 30 themselves somehow, even though we haven't committed that many fouls. And 40 seconds. We have momentum. We've pulled it back within 6. It's not over yet. There's that foul. And they're going to make both, but it's going to give us the time we need. How are we doing? I still have 1 timeout left is all. Really? I only have 1 timeout left? I've used 2 already, and then we missed our shot. That was it. The intentional foul, of course, was on, but they suddenly have a 10-point lead as we could not convert. And then we're running the clock and turning the ball over. Do not intentional foul now. Come on. 1 second left. Long range 3. And we can't even make that. So totally tank in the end. And that's it. No conference title this year, but I think we have done more than enough to get the NCAA tournament bid. Certainly not guaranteed, though, as it was just a, 21-win season. Lockhart, 9 for 11. Spencer, 7 for 12. Rowe, 4 for 5. Those 3 guys just could not miss. Everything they threw up, they could throw it between their legs. They could no look. They could granny shot. Didn't matter. It went in. Citadel with the win in the other semi. So James Madison and Citadel go on. South Carolina Upstate was the highest finisher here. So do they get the 4th spot? I don't know. I guess we'll find out eventually. And James Madison has won the conference tournament this year. So your conference champions for conference are not us this year, not even Citadel. It's James Madison from third place in the conference. 80-74 the final in that one. We'll see what happens with the upcoming tournament selection. 21-8 overall net rank. Only slipped one spot. It's 40th. Net rating slipped one spot. It's 12th. Defensive rating went down a lot after that final game, though. So we are now 29th and 40th. That leaves question marks, right? We're a team that's good, but we're not a team that's great. And we did not get an automatic from winning the conference. And at just 21-8, down in Conference R, there's a decent chance that we do not get selected. We could very much be on the bubble. There's a decent chance that we get one of these play-in spots, so we'll keep an eye out on this first set. Grand Canyon and Nebraska, Omaha, Morgan State, Massachusetts, Lowell. I think those are your 16s. South Tulsa, Princeton, and Boise State, Kent State. There's one of those 21-12s. Similar record, but much higher conference to us. I do fear that we are in jeopardy. West Virginia gets a 1 seed. I definitely think if we are going to make the tournament, our record is going to, and lack of conference championship is going to lower our seed a little bit. There's no way we're going to be 12, 13 kind of seed. I think we're looking at 14th or below. Utah State, even though they're only ranked 6th, somehow has picked up a 1 seed and will play San Francisco. And there's another region that it looks like we've missed out on this one, halfway through those options. James Madison gets an 11 seed. So our conference tournament winner with the automatic bid gets an 11 seed. There's already, for comparison, at 22-8 when we were 21-8. Figure there's no way we're going to be higher than that. But if they are an 11, maybe, just maybe, we get in at, maybe a 13 or something. I was saying no higher than 14, but maybe no higher than 13. 2 regions down. Gonzaga, the number 2 team in the nation, gets the third 1 seed. Western Carolina, their opponent. There it is. We do get in, and we do get that slightly higher after seeing James Madison at 11. I thought maybe, just maybe, we get a 13, and we do get a 13 against Marquette. And Marquette, number 8 in the nation, and they only managed to get a 4 seed. That's harsh. We're talking about 16th. They were 8th. They easily could have had a 2 seed from number 8. But okay, remember, the number 6 team got a 1 seed. So rough on Marquette, which means difficult matchup for us. If we somehow survive, you got Florida State or Boise State or Kent State in the second round. Final 1 seed goes to Oklahoma, number 3 in the country. Ohio State, number 5, and just a 2 seed for them. Cincinnati, a 3 seed at 17th. So they were all over the place in their seedings. And that's it. That is the tournament set. We were the only non-automatic invite from the conference, so Citadel not making the tournament, despite winning the regular season title and playing in the final of the conference championship, and they don't get invited. We, with a better non-conference schedule and record, did just enough to make it ourselves. Okay, so Marquette was 13-3 in Conference D, champion, maybe. 23-6 on the season, which is 2 games better than us, and that was good enough to be ranked number 8 in the country. And yet somehow scouting report, we think we're the favorites. 59-41 chance. Better matchups at 3 positions. None of their starters putting up serious numbers, all between 10 to 13 points per game. None getting a ton of assists, but you're definitely getting some good production out of the shooting guard here. No big time rebound. Well, yeah, averaging 6 per between the 2 post players. Not a lot of blocks. And Byron Wheeler, putting up a lot of steals. Got to watch out for him. I think he is a big threat, but apparently Houston's better. Marquette, better offense, weaker defense. Field goal, They definitely have the advantage. And 1% better from three. Not a good free throw shooting team, which really could help us out, considering how we play defense and how often we put other teams on the line. Everything else is very similar statistically. Marquette down in Conference D somehow have not been playing against top 25 opponents this year. They only had 2 games, Ohio State and Nashville, losing both comfortably, both on the road though. Citadel and South Carolina Upstate both making the NIT, the second tier tournament, and then they have to play each other in the first round of that one. It was Citadel who won 81-69, by the way. North Carolina A&T, South Dakota, both making, the third tier? Fourth tier tournament. They both came away with victories in that first round. Citadel now in the second round against Northern Iowa, and Citadel win comfortably. South Dakota now playing USC, who struggled to 16-13 this season. I want to say USC is somewhere right around either Conference C or D or E. So they are similar to Marquette, but struggled this year. A&T against Massachusetts. And then here is James Madison playing South Carolina, the 6th seed in the first round of the NCAA tournament. South Carolina knocking off James Madison, so they do not get out of the first round. A&T do survive, but USC knock off South Dakota. On tip-off, honestly, I thought this was going to be a really tough match as they win the tip-off and immediately drain a three-pointer to take the early lead, but we do answer back at the other end. I thought it was going to be a difficult matchup as it was a top 10 opponent and we got that lower seed than we probably would have had if we went on to win the conference tournament and got those couple more wins instead of one more loss. But Marquette, even though they are number 8, it turns out their strength of schedule was not that strong. They dominated Conference D. In fact, they were better in Conference D than we were in Conference R. So, yeah, they're probably a pretty good team. But how good? I don't think they're top 10. I think that's why their seed fell the way it did. They only had 2 top 25 opponents all year, and they lost both games by double digits. So they had a fairly easy schedule, I think, is what brought them down. Winning their conference, having a strong record. We do trail early on, though. It's still a top 4 conference opponent. It's still a very good team. And where our scouts favored us, you still kind of favor them. The good news, though, is we certainly have a chance. If we don't make this bucket here, though, we are going to have to start thinking about using our first timeout. We do make that bucket. We do convert 15-9, now 16-9. 4 fouls for us, 3 for them. It's not a good number at this stage as they score here. We definitely need a timeout. We're okay? Okay. All right, cut that lead to 8. Rebounds, +5 early on, but turnovers is -4. Field goals. They've had 5 additional attempts compared to what we had, or at least a moment ago. 0 for 2 from 3, so we haven't even gotten started there. Yeah, a couple worrying trends. Lindquist, Cooper, Hold, all with 1 foul already, and only 1 other foul on the team. So nobody's in serious foul trouble as of right now. That part's good, but trailing by 11 is definitely a concern. Missing the point-blank shot, but getting the putback gives them a 13-point lead, doubling our score right now. I do think it is time we need to take a timeout. We're going to take a full and talk about it. Cannot afford to get down big and hope to get back in this thing. Down 15. We cannot make a shot. And again, we're -8 in shot attempts, so we can't make the attempts we're getting, and we're not getting that many attempts. We've had 9 turnovers, yet they've had 5 steals, so there's quite a bit. We're not totally wasteful with the ball. They are just taking it away from us very effectively. There's a make there, cutting it to 14, giving ourselves a little momentum, and then we leave them wide open on the low block for the easy putback. But nice drive there. for the finish at the rim for our point guard, for Reed. No, not Reed. Somebody else must have been on the ball. Maybe Houston at that particular moment. Not defending them particularly well. They are putting up, good offensive numbers here in the first half, but we are having a terrible offensive showing. And I was talking about this at the beginning of the episode. We are down on offense this year compared to last year. And it's really showing against the better teams. James Madison counts on that list because most of the conference opponents were just not very good, but 2 of them were. And James Madison really exploited the fact that our offense was a bit mediocre this year. Marquette doing the exact same thing, and they take a huge lead into the half. It's 44-27. We just could not get things going. I mean, we can't even get looks for ourselves. Second half underway, and the task is huge. 3-pointer there, just our 3rd of the game. Cuts the lead only to 16. We're going to need a lot more than 1 made shot to get back in this. The long range 2, wide open, cannot convert. Again, the long range 2. Not liking the kind of shots we're settling for. No wonder we're not doing terribly well offensively. The ball a bit better inside this time and draw the foul, but we're down by 18. We draw the foul. It looked like we go to the free throw line and then had no free throw attempts. At least witnessed no free throw attempts. And they stretched the lead to the biggest of the day, which was 20, before we went down and scored at the other end. And score again, cutting into that deficit a little bit here, but it's not happening when we keep settling for long-range 2s over and over and over again, and then don't even seem to get too many shots off. And they're going very early in the shot clock, making shots. There, they get in close, we foul, put them on the line, then they get the offensive rebound and get an extra possession out of it, and then take the 3, get the offensive rebound, get the putback. You're not going to win like that. You are not going to win under those circumstances. We are now -8 in rebounds, -5 in turnovers. They are 53% from the field. We are 46. 46 is okay, but they're +10 on overall attempts. They're doubling up our free throw attempts. And while both teams have made 5 3-pointers, it's not enough to really cut in. Little run, though. We cut it to 14 there for a moment, from down by more than 20. Now 13. Anytime they go to the rim, they either get the easy score or we foul them, I've noticed. But the defense has really started to step up. Down 12. Important make there, but can we answer? Fouled? Miss both free throws. Dead ball situation, another turnover. -6 in that department. The rebounds, we've really caught up. We've had 5 straight boards before they just got 1. Miss there. Defensive rebound. Miss there for us, though. Second chance. Cut it to 14. And yet they have the momentum. Really? How did that happen? They've only scored 3 points in the last 7 minutes. There was no hope. We've given ourselves a little hope after we had that roughly 10-point run, but then the scores stayed fairly level since then, and now the clock is very much working against us. 12-point game. Made the long 2 there. Would have been nice if that was a 3, because then they went down to the other end and converted their 3. But we cut it to 11 now. Back up to 13, though. It's just, you can't win. We're trading buckets. We cannot win like that. 11-point game. Back to 11 again. Use that timeout. Talk it over. Defensive intensity all the way up. Nope, not going to be enough. We cut it to 10 at the end. But when they got up by, 20, 24 points there for a little bit, that was already the nail in the coffin. We battled all the way back to losing just by 10, but it was too little, too late. we finished with multiple bench guys on the court, which makes me think we did commit quite a few fouls in there. Where were we at in that department? Houston, 6 for 16, 3 for 8 from 3. He had 3 fouls. Hold had 4, 6 of 7 for him. He would have had a good day, but he only played, well, none of the guys played the minutes they were supposed to. Reed never even committed a foul and only played 28 minutes. A little strange on that one. Fall did look a lot better here at the end of this season from what we've seen last year and the first part of this year. But overall, just not enough. Marquette, too good. Points in the paint, 42-26 to their advantage. Second chance points, slight advantage. Fast break, we just couldn't put that together. And Van Dyke, 10 for 12. Land, 6 for 9. We shut down their bench this time. We shut down Weber, 2 for 10 for him, 1 for 6 from 3. But we could not shut down the other starters. Well, we might be out in the first round, but that's to be expected after the kind of season we had. We did just enough to make the tournament, so we should be happy that we made it there, but that's all we managed to do this time. The great news, though, is we have 4 starters returning. That's huge. Ed Hold, the only one heading out. Now, of course, he's been a very, very good player for us, so that is a big spot to fill. But we've got some guys coming in. Oh, we've got one guy coming in already who looks to be starter quality. And through transfer portal, we've got room for 5 more, as a majority of our bench is what's graduating this year. So that's fantastic for us, as we should be significantly better next year than this year. And even though this wasn't the greatest season, we are climbing that ladder another rung, so we continue to rise. That's going to do it for this episode. We'll start out next one with the final results of the tournament, see who ends up taking the title this year. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.